Ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, welcome back to Mike's Diabetes World. Let's take a look at this. Current blood sugar is 11.6. I have 5.15 units of insulin still in the system. Basal rate been working all day till about now. And correction, the blue line's there. My pump is giving me shots of insulin all the time. So here we see that I've had my shot for mealtime. So I was starting to come down and I perked up a bit, and hopefully I'll just kind of crest and start to come down again. Time in range, I'm at a respectable 92, I can't read today, 82, 18 above, which we still have to work on. Time in range is 82, and average blood sugar is 8.1. Pretty damn good if you ask me. Today, I want to discuss why as a T1D am I in long-term care? Stay tuned and we'll be right back and we'll get going on today's video. Stay tuned. Okay, so Mike, why are you in a long-term care facility? If you're a type 1 diabetic, should you be living by what you say? Should you be out there in the real world, coping with real world points and trying to do your best, eating right, and well, I did do that. And unfortunately, that caused a lot more care issues. I constantly went low, required emergency personnel to keep showing up at my home. My house was being sold and I couldn't, just because of inheritance, and I couldn't afford an apartment on my own because any part of the money I get would go to supplies to supply me. It made more sense, A, for care, B, for financial, that I moved into long-term care. It was probably the best bet for me. I am what you call a brittle diabetic. In my life, I've been classified as a severe brittle diabetic. Or sorry, not brittle, labile. Now, what does that mean? Well, it means that my blood sugars can fluctuate for no apparent reason. I've had people here say, oh, you're just medicating yourself. You're self medicating. I'm not. My body does weird and wonderful things. Hence, that is why, through my endocrinologist, my diabetic nurse, my family doctor, and the health department, it was decided that this was probably the best bet for me. Not necessarily this care facility, this was just the care facility that first came up. I would say, as people who are just diagnosed and who are still actively out there trying to do the best they can, they do better away from the hospital than in. I kind of pay the price here. I could be assumed that I don't know anything about diabetes, and it's been sort of like a big fight sometimes, not a physical fight, but that yes, I know, and with my doctor and my diabetic nurse, I take care of my own diabetes here. I don't know, down the road, there may be a time where I would have to give up control. But that's something I'm not able to do. We do have a video of something like that coming up a little bit later this month. But that's pure and simple why I'm here. I'm also here because I am working with complications. I have diabetic neuropathy, which requires me seeing an orthopedic surgeon, not for surgery, but just that I keep the vision. I see the gastroenterologist and my diabetes. So really, labile diabetes, which is brittle, if some of you are old like me, is really a complication. And every day I get up, I do the best I can. I have the tools to be able to tell me what I'm at. I'm at 12. My doctor's technically okay with that. I'm not. I don't feel that energetic and that willing to go out after everything. So I'm here just so that if my body decides to do something different with my diabetes, there are people here who can act quickly and sensibly. I've told you before that there are some diabetics, not mentioning any names, who are, let's say, stubborn. And I can really be stubborn. I know. I'm the perfect diabetic, right? No, I'm not. But I know my body and my diabetes the best. I know for a fact that I've gone up and I'll probably come down later around 3. So that's telling me that sometimes you just gotta ride things out. This is acknowledging that some diabetics just take a shot and, oh, they're fine, and they can go out and live life and, you know, prepare what they want for dinner and go and lead great careers. I've tried that, and diabetes was always here. So me in the facility, I've got diabetes over here where I can keep an eye on it. Now, does that mean you should run in and say, oh, yes, I need to go into long term care? All the stresses of the world are taken away from me. No, it's not that glamorous. I'm in a fairly nice one. Long term cares, there's always been horror stories out there. This one is pretty good. There's my, oh, excuse me. Oh, oh, it's been driving me crazy in this video. But if you're brittle or labile, you're having problems, discuss other options before this. I would suggest this be your first step. Sorry, things were just falling off the bed. Now, how to tell when you should be. For over 4 years, I went to bed, didn't know if I'd wake up to firemen and ambulance drivers in my room. And one time I went to bed and I woke up and there were ambulance drivers in my room. And I remember I locked the door. Luckily, I left the sliding glass door and a police officer came and entered my apartment because I was making noises. When someone phoned in, I don't know, to complain, but I didn't answer the door. So he got a ladder, climbed up onto the balcony, tried knocking. Luckily, the sliding glass door was open, came in, found me unconscious, and hence the ambulance. That was maybe not that dramatic, but ambulance was at my place quite often. It could also be that I was high. I've told in story time where I went high and a friend of mine took me into the hospital. This sort of thing happened all the time. I would end up on the floor in my apartment because of my brittle diabetes. If I just had mild diabetes, we'll call it mild or normal diabetes, I probably wouldn't have to be in a facility. I could be at home. But since I have complications to the years of diabetes, then this seemed to be the best option. Yeah, sometimes I miss going out. We're working on getting me a chair so I can go out and visit the neighborhood. Summer's coming, so it would be nice to get out of the ward and go out and see. But we'll all have to take a look and see as things come on. Like I said, this is not the life for everyone. It's not easy. Oh, yes, it's just like a hotel. We have cocktails out by the lanai. There's no cocktails here. A lot of the daily life things you get help with, and that's the important thing. Since being in here, my diabetes has improved. If I went back out in the community, I don't know how much better things would be than they are now. It's hard to say, but I've got my place, my little room, and hopefully to get a chair eventually and to be able to get out and go around. But If you think that this is something that may help you, then contact your GP. Contact your diabetes doctor. In some areas, you have to go through approval. I'm going to call it there. We have an alarm going. Talk to you later. Bye. Sorry, that was a quick one. I thought it was a fire, but it was. So, discuss things with. I didn't know that my doctor considered my diabetes as a disabling feature, that I was a disabled person, and things just got easier. My doctor at the time said, "We've done an awful lot of work in coming up with ways that you could live." And when this came up, my new doctor said, "Well, it's probably better than just, oh, being brought into the hospital all the time. I could be unconscious, I could be thirsty in DKA, and here, a lot of times they stop before it gets to DKA. I've had one bout of DKA in here, and out there, I'd have a lot more. So, being in here is like a severe form of brittleness. I'm not making excuses for myself. I'm far from it. But I don't want people to think, "Oh, well, yes, I qualify. I can get housing and I won't have to pay anything." No, you still are going to have to pay rent here. But there's so much more that is helpful here. And with that, we're going to call it a day. Have a great day. Look into it if it's something you think you need. Your doctors, your home health rep will be able to see if you qualify. And there is a waiting list, because it's not only diabetes here, it's old age, it's other people with chronic conditions. And with that, have a great day, and we'll talk later. Bye now. My email address is Mike's Diabetes World at gmail.com. All one line. Drop me